happens next is not my fault.
Oh my God.
We have a brand new game.
To be honest, weddings was not my thing.
Go option one, not safe. These things are insane. This is ridiculous. Yo, did y'all see that new intro? We got intros now. Look, what's good, Creative Fam? Brandon Washington here. And to say that I am hype about this show would be a massive understatement. I cannot explain how difficult this show was to put on because we have so much in store today. Like it's pretty nuts how much we actually have planned for today. As you guys already know, I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Red just announced a new camera yesterday. And so we have no choice but to talk about this camera because this is literally what we were talking about just a few weeks ago about global shutter taking over the industry this year. I said it then, and I still believe it now. This is going to be a huge year for global shutter. And so we got a lot to talk about there. We also have, as you guys already saw from the thumbnail, we have a special guest coming in today to help me talk about this. And ironically, I did not plan on Mr. Porter being on the show so we could talk about these cameras. That's just how the universe works. It just worked out perfectly that this ended up being the topic that worked out for us. And he happened to be the perfect guest to bring on for today. And gosh, we have so much to talk about. And I want to hold it because we have a special guest who might be dropping in on us today. And I guarantee you it's going to be worth the wait and to see him come on the show today.
Hey, Brandon.
I gotta introduce you, bro.
Hey, Brandon. Is it Elon Musk?
The special guest, let's just say he might be the Elon Musk of cameras. I'll just say that for right now. But as you guys heard, I've got my special guest and co-host, an amazing friend, Mr. Jarrell, on the show with us today. What up, Jarrell?
What's up, Brandon?
It's so dope.
Man, we got an incredible show today.
Gosh, I don't even know how we pack it all in. So I don't know what you guys' schedule is like for the next hour and a half, but I guarantee you're going to want to stick around for this show. You're going to want to be here for the entire thing because we got announcements. We got special guests. We got a game. We're going to try our best to get to that game. But here's the thing about the game. Because we have, because we have this guest on, if he comes on, we're going to want to talk to him for the entire time because I'm telling you, I know I'm hyping this up a lot, but it's worth it. I guarantee it. If this guest shows up, because he's a very busy man, we might push the game just because it's going to be worth it. I want to know in the chat right now, who do you think the guest is? Let me know in the chat who you think the guest is. It's going to be worth it, I promise. But, Jarrell, it's been a wild week. It's been an absolutely wild week, and we have so much to get into. So where should we start? Where should we start, Jarrell?
You know what? I think we should probably start with our very, very special guest, Justin. But before we do that, I do want to know, did something happen in Cameraland?
You know, in the world of cameras, there are very, no, Andre, you are not allowed to answer. Sorry, I just saw it in the chat. My son, he knows who the guest is, and he's saying, can I answer? Andre, you cannot answer. No, sir.
Do not look at Andre.
Do not look at him. So we got a massive announcement from none other than my favorite cinema camera brand, Red Digital Cinema, with a brand new v-raptor with a global shutter. And this is this isn't, I didn't even know I wanted this until I saw it and was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. How did they know this is what I wanted, even though I knew I wanted it, but I didn't know that I wanted? I knew I needed it.
It felt so unexpected too.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like what we're dropping cameras in January and for what, but such an incredible announcement
and such a technological advancement in cameras. And so I know that I could geek out about this, but I know there's somebody who's currently chopping at the bits to hop on right now and talk about this. And y'all, I want you to go in because when you see his setup and I start roasting him, y'all gonna have to go in too, because I can't even do it anymore. Let's go ahead and bring in my friend, amazing filmmaker, amazing content creator, awesome documentarian when it comes to the wedding space, but just also an awesome educator, Mr. Justin Porter. Bro, okay, first of all, make him full screen for me for just a second, because the people need to take in how, like, oh my gosh, he's drinking the Kool-Aid. The setup is red.
Like, tell me you a fan without telling me you a fan. You know what I mean? Who would have thought? Like, who could guess?
How many reds do you have back there?
Yeah, how many reds you got in the background?
This just the Raptor right here, and then we got the KX, you know, the KX. Then we got the OG representing over here. If I get my finger placements right, just just three of the latest red camera. Nothing crazy, you know, nothing crazy. It's not a Raptor X or nothing. Like, no, don't think that.
Hey,
no,
pull me up real quick, Drill. Look, y'all, I just want everybody to understand this man brought out so much for this setup, and I am for it. I am 100% for it.
This man,
I feel like people, for one, I feel like anybody that's watching the stream now that have already been following me, they have been waiting for me to publicly talk about why I switched to red. So this has been like, for me to even be able to be on your show today and even have the discussion of the latest camera, this is just, they're waiting for this. So I feel like this, for me, thank you for bringing me on, but now have used this camera and been in the ecosystem for the last 3 months. I feel like I got a lot to say. I don't want to overstep. I'm gonna wait for you to hit me with the questions, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Like,
well, you are definitely an influencer. As you guys know, normally my set is blue, but I saw his set and I was like, yo, I got to make some changes. So we hooked up on the app real quick and we went all red. Like I was like, I'm gonna be subtle. You know, I got the red flannel on. I got a red hat, but it's black on black. So unless the light hits it just right, you didn't care. He said, I'm going all in, all or nothing. Go big, go home.
Hey man, I'm the special guest. I thought I was supposed. I didn't know.
Nah, bro, I love it, and I'm for it. Yeah. Somebody said in the comment, Justin set the bar. What is this? Pull that one up for me. Justin Justin did set the bar. I didn't rise up to the occasion. I tried. I even tried with my reel yesterday. I was like, I'm on Justin level hype, and then you posted yours, and I was like, I feel like I could have brought more hype.
Hey, we were eating lunch. Me and my wife was eating lunch, and we saw the notification. And before we even played it, we didn't hear the sound. We're in the restaurant, and she's like, "Why? He's so hyped! Like, this reminds me of you." And when we played it, you were like, "I feel like Justin Porter right now." I was like, "Yo, we should do another one replying to his." Like, and that's how, like, bro, money like that. That was like money. But the excitement's there though, because you can't not get hype about, like, even if you hate red. I feel like even if you're one of them people who are just, you know, we got the anti-red people, and I've only been a red shooter for a short amount of time, so I don't know if that means I'm qualified to talk about it, but I'm a nerd at heart, so I understand it, right?
Yeah.
Even if you hate red, you've got to thank them for the leaps, like this technology, the ability to do this. And we ain't even getting into the camera yet, but you got to be hyped for that if you're a camera person.
You got to think about it. This has been a crazy week for red. I mean, I had inklings. Like, we knew an EVF was coming, right? Like, that was kind of known. We knew that was coming. But even before the camera dropped, and, you know, Jared loves to do his teasers on his Instagram. Like, even before that came out, the camera they announced just before that, you know, the new camera, the custom built for the Tron, that now they actually have a Raptor. I believe it's the which version of the Raptor was it? Was it the?
Is it the XL?
I think it's the XL. They have the XL, but now the XL actually takes the new ARRI lenses that were designed originally for the Super 35. This just lets you know that, like, red is not about, like, oh, you gotta like us, or oh, if you hate us, or like fanboying and any of that stuff. They're like, let's just make the best tech we can, and if that literally means working with our quote unquote competitor to make the best tech, let's run it. Because at the end of the day, it's about the filmmakers, right? And it's about giving us the tools we need. Now, I don't need that Tron camera, but I bet you I'd want them to use it.
If you said, hey, yo, go take this Tron camera to a wedding, like, of course, I'm not going to say no. Like, it's not like, I don't need it, but like, of course, I'm not going to say no. Of course, I'm not. Like, I don't know whose wedding it is, but trust me, this wedding is going on like this is going on Netflix. Like I'm shooting it with the, of course I'm gonna try it.
This man go shoot a wedding with the Tron camera. Y'all tell him how nuts he is. But dude, all right. So everybody's been here. We got a good amount of people who are tuning in right now. So much is going through the chat. So I'm gonna do my best to try to pull up as many people from the chat as I possibly can. But as you guys are watching this, do us a huge favor. Because we know this conversation and the stream is going to be huge, hit that like button for us right now. So that way it can send a nice little spark to the algorithm that says, hey, filmmakers, come check out this stream that's happening right now. Because I got to ask you, Mr. Porter, when you first, I know you said you were having lunch. I know y'all were getting ready for your event. Y'all were out doing your thing. But when you saw the notification about this camera, the new Raptor X, what were your thoughts? What was your initial thoughts that went through your mind once you started reading off the spec sheet?
When I first saw global shutter, and I was like, no way. But the first thing that came to mind, right? I'm not even like I jumped to conclusions. I feel like we do that. We see like newly released, and then you're like, oh, I bet you automatically start knowing the flaws, right? Like if you know global shutter, you know the limitations of global shutter, you know the restrictions, like it's pros and cons. So I saw that and I'm like, ooh, they dropped man, I wonder if it's as good in dynamic range as the current Raptor, because that's like, there's nothing to me that is even close to that, like running and gunning.
Yeah,
bro, I go through the specs and then it said 3 additional stops. Like in the highlight, I'm like, hold up, like, wait a minute. So I'm automatically thinking, well, what does that mean? Does that mean it's 14 stops of dynamic range plus 3? So like, are they still sacrificing? No. 17 stops of dynamic range with the ability to go past that in situations where you need, like, dude, I feel like I said this to some people already, but it's already so hard to clip shots on the Raptor, like the original Raptor. And I can only imagine having the ability to take it further, 3 additional stops. Like, what? Like, it's crazy, bro.
I think that was it for me too. Like, I love the Komodo, right? Like the OG Komodo was like the first red that I purchased. And when I shot with that global shutter sensor, it immediately, I was like, oh, there's a difference here in the look. But I will say there were some limitations that I saw with the original Komodo, and a lot of it was in the shadows. And then when we got the upgrade to the KX, and I shot with that one, and I saw the dynamic range and that it was hitting close to Raptor levels, I was like, yo, you can do this with the global shutter. I was like, they did it. They did what you can do with global shutter. It's Super 35 sensor. It's 6K. I'm loving this. This is exactly what we needed, right? And then they give us VistaVision, bro. Global shutter. And it has the dynamic range. So you're not sacrificing anything. And then they still keep everything that we love from the original Raptor. You get the 8K. You get the 120 frames per second. But for me, there are things that like I'm looking at that I'm like, they are listening. Because like when I talk to them about the KX, like one of the things I didn't necessarily love about my Raptor was the audio. I was like, man, the audio is really good, but it's like super low. And like to gain it up to where you need it to be, like it almost was like, I can't really record audio internally. They fixed that on the KX. And now on the Raptor X, they made it even better. So it's clear that they're listening to the users, and they're not this like company that feels like, oh no, we're making the cameras we think are best. It's like, we are going to listen to the people who actually use our stuff, and where there are limitations, let's make it better.
Let's make it better. That honestly is why. And like again, I'm only saying this because I don't want there to be comments like after the live where people are like, "Yo, I looked up Justin. He only had his red since November." Like, okay, listen, I understand technology, so like I've been a nerd. I like this. This is not new, right? Anybody that knows me knows this. Like I've been this way since like I was born. Like I've always been this way. But my thing with red and what I really like is that, like you said, they listen, but they also don't go backwards. Like I feel like if you think about a lot of the cameras that you love today, right? Like y'all know I was a diehard Blackmagic guy. Like that's just what it was. I had the original Pocket 6K Pro. It came out. There's gripes for days of that camera, right? You did a review on it, right? Like, I mean, everybody, like, we've all used this camera and we all have the same love-hate things for it. I was expecting there to be an improvement. And one of the things that they did is they went a step backwards. They dropped, you know, a 6K full frame. And what do? They take away your ND filter. They go backwards with some of the things. With Red, what I've noticed, even with the original Komodo, because I purchased that first, and then I got a KX, they did everything, gave you global shutter. They gave us what we wanted. But then they were like, oh, what else did people hate? Well, I hated that the original Komodo couldn't do higher frame rates in 6K. Okay, let's double everything with the KX. Let's not put the KX out until we can double it all. And then here comes the Raptor X. I don't personally know if there's a forum out where people are like, I hate this, this, and this, and this about the Raptor, because I've had nothing but good things to say about it. But if there is this list, I would imagine that the Raptor X is solving it because it fixed problems that I didn't even face yet. Like, I didn't face overexposing or clipped highlights on a daily basis because of how good it is. And now they got a KX that, like, okay, cool. When this becomes a problem, I know what I need to go to, and it's like I'm good to go.
Dude, I think that's really what it's all about with this camera. So, okay, I know everybody is currently hopping into the chat and everyone has their opinions. We would love to know, what is your current favorite feature of this new camera? Now, I'm going to list off a few of the features really quick, so that way you guys can let us know, like, what are the features that you're currently looking forward to the most? Because I know this is not going to be a camera that everyone's going to buy. But it's definitely a camera I think a lot of people are going to rent for the right projects because of the versatility of it. So let's go through a couple of the settings. And then I'm going to ask you, Mr. Porter, what's your favorite feature? I'll tell you what my favorite feature is. But in the chat, I want you guys to tell us right now, what's your favorite feature that you see in this camera, or you would love to even see in other cameras as the tech continues to improve and as we start to see new cameras come out all year long. I want to know what other features you love to see. So here are some of the highlight features we got on this camera. So, of course, we talked about it. It's an 8K VistaVision global shutter sensor. And VistaVision basically is full frame or full format on the sensor. But here's the thing I've always found interesting about VistaVision. It's actually a little bit bigger than full frame. And I think that's really, really interesting. And it really gives us some really like unique looks. Obviously, it's got the global shutter, 17 plus stops of dynamic range. We can shoot up to 120 frames per second at 8K. It's a small form factor. So we're getting basically the same form factor as the original Raptor. And we've got the all new audio architecture. As I mentioned before, it improves on the existing audio features that they already gave us with the KX. And of course, we have intelligent focus. Now, intelligent focus to me is something that is super unique because I would love to get, I want to know what the people in the chat have to say about this, but this cinema camera now has intelligent focus, which means we're getting like face tracking autofocus in a cinema camera, and it's coming out native on the camera. It's not like the Raptor or the KX before it, where it had some focus stuff, but it was all beta when it first came out. And then it was an update that allowed it to do face tracking. It's coming with this built in. So the sensor is actually designed for this. So that's probably my favorite feature that I'm most interested in testing out. But Mr. Porter, what's your favorite feature that you see on this camera right now that you think is going to be like groundbreaking for this camera?
Mine definitely is the enhanced highlights, the dynamic range. I don't know if that was like on the list. I just know it's it's my favorite improvement to the Raptor X. I think personally, and you kind of said this, they just kind of give you all of the tools. They're like, here's a camera we just want to give you as much as you can possibly have in your shots to do whatever you want with in post. And I think being able to go from shooting Sony to, there's videos on my YouTube where I was like, I'm a diehard Sony fanboy. And then I was fully invested in Blackmagic. And now I'm here with Red. I think going through the ecosystems and now having a camera that truly does give me everything that I need in post, I think that's been the biggest selling factor for me. And so to see this camera come out, again, I haven't faced issues, or if I have, it's like one or two a wedding where I have overexposed highlights with the Raptor. But now having a camera that's able to push past that without like losing any shadow detail. Like it's not moving the dynamic range. It's just literally taking you from here and like boop, giving you more. I think having that ability, because I shoot run and gun, I shoot weddings. It's always I don't have optimal. Oh, let me go flag this ceremony space real quick. Hang on a second. Let me go and block some. I can't do that. I got to just point the camera. At best, I got time to throw on an ND filter. That's it. And so to have the ability to know, like if I'm in a pickle, I can push past it. That's like my favorite feature. I want to be able to always have like the cleanest shot, no matter what. Regard if I don't have the ability to light it or to bring in modifiers and stuff like that.
Okay. I 100% agree with you. And I think if you are a run and gun shooter, that is going to be probably the biggest one. And somebody actually made that exact same point in the chat. Somebody said, basically, like, it feels like the cinema cameras, like they're originally designed to be used with these big teams, but as the industry seems to be moving towards a more run and gun. But what I think is really interesting about that is the camera still can be used in a traditional cinema format. You know, like it can still be used on big, big blockbuster sets. As we saw, the camera was like being secretly used already on a project. I think Jared posted a picture about that. And it could definitely be used there, but we also can still see it as a run and gun format, whether that's for documentaries or like you say, like for your weddings, which I think is nuts, but hey, to each his own.
And trust me, there's some days where I'm running with it and I'm like, man, if I had like a little, A7S3, I'd be good. But it part passion and part desire to have that look. Like I'm at the point now where I choose to have a better image. You know what I mean? Like do I need it? No, but I want that. As a creative, I want the better image. And so,
No, totally understand that. All right. So we haven't, so let me check. Hold on. Sorry. So guys, I gotta keep checking because we do have a special guest who's got to be coming through. So I got to make sure that I stay aware of that. But I got a question for you, Mr. Porter. I got a big question when it comes to getting into these cameras, because there's a lot of people out there, who see these amazing cameras, they see the specs and they're excited about it. But the truth is that like, you have to build a business that can justify something like this, right? Like you're not just coming out day one and buying a red camera and being like, all right, I'm ready to actually start running with this camera and running my business this way. So when it comes to building a business that can produce six figures and justify a type of camera like this, what is the advice that you give to someone who's thinking about taking this passion of video? They're obsessed with the gear. They love the gear, but they want to actually build a business that can justify and support their ambitions to get to this camera status. What is something that they can start doing now to actually build a six-figure business?
Man, that's a really good question, because I think my upgrades over the years through any of my cameras, it always came because I outgrew my current system. Like I just physically outgrew it. Like for example, when I was shooting Sony, that's when I was like, okay, I want to learn. Like I wanted my Sony image to look like the Sony images from, like the YouTubers I was following. Even like their images looked way better than the shots I was getting. So I'm like, why can't my stuff look like this? So I started pushing color grading and I started pushing these things, right? And then it got to a point where I was breaking the image. I was breaking the 8-bit. It just couldn't hold up. So then I looked for the next best thing and came into, Black Magic and so on and so on. So my thing is now, like, when you're just starting out and you're like, I want reds because reds is the best. It's not really like you're going to go out and buy this camera and be so far behind on how to properly use it that I think you should fully max out where you're at right now. So if you're shooting FX3s or FX6, get to a point where you are trying to push past the limitations of that camera, where if you physically need more bit depth in your color, so the 16-bit RAW makes sense, where you physically need something that you're going to be running like shotgun mic. That was another thing. I wanted to use Phantom Power, my NTG3 on camera. I didn't want to use like the little video mics that plug in. I wanted to use really high quality camera or mics. And so I needed a camera that could support Phantom Power. So I would say get to a point where you outgrow what you're currently using. But this camera that you do buy, whether it's a Komodo X, Raptor X, it should definitely, like, you should already know how this is going to improve your workflow, it shouldn't be a guess. It shouldn't be, should I get the Raptor or should I get the Komodo? Like, you should already know, like, I need the Komodo X because it's going to be yada, 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 or I need the Raptor X because it's going to boom, boom, boom. Like, you should already know before going into it. And I think if you still have those questions of like, is red worth it? Should I upgrade to red or should I upgrade to this? I don't think you're ready to upgrade at all. I think you should still be pushing where you're at. And then you're going to be forced. Your hand is basically, you're going to be like, I need to push my image. I'm so tired of overexposed highlights. I'm doing everything I can, but nothing's working. You're going to be forced to go into one of these higher end brackets. Like, you're not going to have to go, should I get this? No, you're going to already know where you need to be.
100%. And I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on that, because it also, I feel like if you don't maximize where you currently are, you might buy a camera thinking that's going to solve your problem, but it could introduce a totally different problem. You know, for me, I remember when I was like, you know, trying to get the most out of my cameras. And the reason why I originally went Blackmagic was because I wanted raw. I wanted the ability to like change things in post and give my editor, because I had moved to a place where I wasn't editing anymore. I wanted to give my editor the most latitude possible. But because I was doing that, I started using Blackmagic, and that limited like the editors we could use because it was Blackmagic Raw. So that became like a bottleneck for us, which then ultimately is what led us into going into Red, because I was like, oh, let's test out Red Raw. So I just started testing out different flavors of Raw, and we found that Red Raw became like the easiest solution for us. But what's very interesting is that I actually like, and this is me just being very transparent, I was like, oh, the files won't be too much. I'll be fine. I was like, yeah, you know, I've bought hard drives before. I'm used to buying a hard drive per project. No biggie. I'll chalk it off to the client. Bro, when I tell you I bought my Red and then immediately had to drop like $12,000, 12 with 3 zeros on a NAS system, that is the hardest purchase in the world to make.
Storage is hard.
It's not fun. It's not fun, but again,
there's no immediate gain from it.
There's not, but it's part of the process. And so understanding that process and understanding what that workflow is going to look like as you choose to upgrade your camera is also, I think, a big part of it. Okay. I have to let you guys know something really quick, because Mr. Porter, I'm going to let you know this too, and the people. Our special guest has officially arrived. I'm going to give him a few minutes to get himself ready. I can see he's here. I promise y'all are not going to want to walk away at this point. So definitely stay tuned in, stay locked in. But Mr. Porter, I got to ask you one last business question about how to get to the point of getting this camera, because knowing what camera to get is super important. But how did you figure out that, like, for you, building the business was weddings? If somebody is thinking about building their business and they're not sure which avenue to go down, should I do corporate? Should I do commercial? Should I do weddings? Like, where should I go? And how do I build a business once I choose that avenue? What advice do you give someone who's trying to build a business and it's like, I don't know which direction I should go first?
I'm going to say try it all and listen to your heart, because I knew after 2 music videos that this is not my thing. Like, I'm not with it. I knew after 2, and I kid you not, there's people who today probably on this chat that have DM'd me, man, I'll pay you whatever to do. No, I don't care. I don't even care if I like the song. I'm just not creatively invested in music videos, because I know that no amount of money will change my mind. Maybe a Drake video. Okay, maybe for Drake. All right. But like, I'm just not like, I'm a storyteller. I don't want to film the same song in 10 locations. It just doesn't fulfill me. So my advice is, as you're going down this path, try things and let's trust your instincts. Like, it's going to be easy for you. I'm saying this as a wedding filmmaker. It is easy to go into shooting weddings, half doing it and making a bunch of money. The majority of people that fit that category hate shooting weddings. And if you hate it, you're not going to enjoy picking up your camera and going. You're not going to want to go buy a Red because you hate your job. You know what I mean? So, but if you love it, if you are invested in documentary work or corporate work, or you want to make the best music videos on the planet, you're not going to look at the gear as limitations. You're going to be looking for the types of gear and tools that can get you to another level within that niche. So I would say listen to your heart, trust it. You're gonna know very early on doing something. You're gonna shoot a real estate video and be like, man, this is boring. Don't do it again. Like, that's not the thing that you want to do. You're gonna shoot music videos and be like, I love this. This is gas. That's your thing. Like, do more of that. You know, trust your intuition and go down that path, because then it'll guide your purchasing decisions. You'll be more passionate with it. You'll enjoy it. And then I think this is what it is for me anyway, because I love shooting weddings and telling stories. Buying the best gear to get me to a better quality makes sense to me. Like, now I'm chasing quality. I'm chasing, how can I refine my films and really give it that polish? And that's where I'm at with Red and with all the mics and all the stuff that we do.
I think that's perfect. That's great advice. Try it all and then listen to your heart. I think you're 100% right. Cause like a lot of people do try weddings. Like I tried weddings and I was like, oh, this is very emotional. I don't like this. My wife doesn't like that. That's how I am, but that's how I am. I'm like, oh, this is too emotional for me. But then I tried like real estate and I'm like, oh, this is great. Cause I'm typically a very like introverted person a lot of the time. And so like, I can go and shoot this house and nobody's going to be here and I can just kind of do my own thing. This is perfect for me. But like you said, some people are like, dude, I'm shooting an empty house. This is boring.
That was me. I was like, I don't like this. Like this doesn't do anything for me. Like, why am I here?
So that's why you definitely got to listen to your heart and you got to follow what you are interested in. All right. I know you guys have been patiently waiting. So we've got our special guest, and I just got to say, first of all, I got to thank him before I bring him up, because, you know, I reached out to him to see if he'd be up to doing this. And it was like an immediate yes. You know, this is somebody, and this goes back to my original point that, you know, Red as a company, they listen and they're easy to connect with. Like, and that's one of the things that I like about the company is that, like, if I have questions or if something's going on, you can reach out to them, but also you can tell that there's like an actual passion for what they do from the people at the company, even to the point of leaking their own stuff to just overhype us and just ruin our entire day. Because I'm going to tell you, this guest ruined yesterday for me. I had plans to get work done. I had edits to work on. I was doing stuff, being productive. And then out of nowhere, he decides to just say, hey, Brandon, ruin everything you had planned for today and just freak out for like a solid 8 hours. Make reels and just do as much research as you possibly can. And so today I'm really excited to bring up onto the show for the very first time, Mr. Jared Land, the CEO of Red. I am so excited to have you on. Welcome to the show.
Okay. Okay. First thing, Mr. Porter, I got to hire you to come into every single one of our Red stores and redo them.
Say no more.
This is insane. Your background looks better than most of our stores. Good job. I love
thank you. We literally did it last second. I was like, should I put the Raptor up on display? And my assistant was like, yes, we're doing it right now. And like 10 minutes go by and we just start transforming the whole set.
I want to come to your house and shop.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Like. It's good. And thanks for having me, Brandon. I didn't want to jump in and to your discussion because I think it was an important one. And I think you guys hit on a lot of really important things that's hard as a creator. You know, when you are in this crazy job, crazy market that we are, and you decide to do it, it's one of those rare things where most people, it's a hobby for them and it's a passion. And to be able to work like that, you know, most accountants or, you know, name another job, you don't do that in your spare time for fun. And filmmaking, I think, is one of those. It's like music. It's one of those things that people do in their spare time. So when you can make it a job, you want to keep it a hobby, a passion. If you do something, you guys just explained it so perfectly. If you do a wedding and you're like, oh my God, this is so emotional, I can't deal with this, and know when to stop. Mr. Porter, when he says music videos, you know, and there's a lot of emotion and romance to music videos, you know, it's the coolest thing you can do in a lot of people's minds. When you do it and you're like, oh man, this isn't for me, to know when to shift, you've got to always keep doing that to keep that fire going, I think. So you guys kind of nailed it right off the top. So I love jumping in at that moment because it's what we do at Red. It's the same thing, you know. If it starts to get boring, we change it up.
Yeah, that's one of the things like I notice even when I look at Red's actual like Instagram and like the content that you guys share is it's like there's always such a diverse like bits of like industries, whether people are shooting nature or, you know, you got people like Porter who are shooting weddings, or you've got people who are shooting corporate stuff like what we do. Like it just like the tool allows you to really just take advantage of whatever industry you're in. Like one of our favorite ones is like we shoot a lot of concerts and festivals during the festival season. And like the fact that we can take the same tool to like all these different types of industries and still be able to like maximize what we get out of it, I find that that's something that's really, really fun and interesting. But I know the chat here, they've been blowing up since you hopped on. And so the questions are going to start rolling in. So guys, if you guys have questions, do us a huge favor right now. Put those questions in the chat. We're going to try to pull a couple of them up. But obviously, one of the big reasons why we asked Jared to be on today was because of this new camera announcement. So Jared, before we ask you any questions about the camera, I got to ask you, what makes you most excited about this new camera and about the direction that Red is moving in?
Well, I think and you guys actually, it was funny because, and I gotta forgive me if I drop out. I'm in my bunker in Big Sur with really shady satellite internet, so I might drop out. But I was on a really boring, I shouldn't say that out loud, but call. And while I was listening to you guys in the background when you started, before I jumped on here, and you kind of said that, you know, what people use their cameras for, you know, and it goes from the smallest shoot where you're just by yourself to a big on-set massive production. And from when we started, and Jim and I really are shooters, like we shoot, and a lot of that times it's by ourselves. So we always go into making these cameras for ourselves as much as we listen to you guys, because we really feel like we're one of you guys. Honestly, it just feels like, you know, us three are all the same. We're just doing this because we love it. So a lot of the things kind of stem from that. And then there's a lot of influence, of course, from these massive shoots, Hollywood shoots that need a bunch of stuff. And that's where you see kind of the XL camera come along. And, you know, for me, the XL is the big beast that I probably don't bring out the most. For me, it's this guy. It's the Komodo X. And I talked about the Komodo X, but this little Raptor, when you think of what it can do when you're by yourself, that gets me the most excited. And it's just trying to put in it as much things as we possibly can, you know. And I saw a fox, you know, and I've got a little setup with foxes over in it, and there's motion control and robotics, and it's an insane setup. But I can't tell you how exciting and how much that fox has helped engineering, because when you can't get to the camera and you're by yourself and you got to do something, you need to be able to control it. You need to be able to monitor it. You need to be able to do a lot of things that not a lot of people are shooting foxes in the woods, but that applies to a lot of things that you guys do, you know, and everybody else does. And you see things like full control and, you know, autofocus becoming really important. And there's a reason why our autofocus. Sorry.
I said, you know, that's what I was asking about. Even when the KX first came out, that was one of my big moments. I was like, okay, because I remember there was a time where the Red Control Pro app had face tracking autofocus before it was in the cameras, and I found it on accident. And I was like, wait a minute, it's here. Why is it not in the cameras? Like, what's going on? And I asked you when the KX first came out, and you were like, there's some technological things. We got to keep working at it. And now the updates have come. But with the new Raptor, now it's coming straight out, and there's been some enhancements to it. And I saw you have it right in front of you, right? Can you show the people? The people want to see it.
Oh, I forgot. There's a lot of people getting this today.
Oh, he just forgot. He casually forgot. He's got the latest and greatest Rick. Oh, I just forgot I got the Raptor X, right? No.
I've been using it for months out here, so I'm kind of like, oh yeah, you know, ignore all the stuff
my goodness.
over here, wherever that is.
Can we get a zoom in and enhance what's going on back there?
But and there is, you know, Mikhail, who does Full Control, which does Red Control. I mean, there's a good example of one guy that is just a savant. The guy, you know, can develop things sometimes quicker than it takes 5 meetings for, you know, a team of engineers to think about starting. And that face control was a good start. And if you notice, you know, and then I get excited because I get to test it. And Full Control is really important for me for that remote shooting. I mean, I could literally, you know, when the camera's up in a tree somewhere, I can control focus, I control start stop, I can offload. You know, offloading happened with him first as well. So that all happened through Full Control before. And if you tried our face tracking when it first came out, there's a reason that it worked on dogs better than people and foxes. Because that was the test. And you know, I love seeing this from you know, other companies kind of adopt this stuff, because it just makes all of our lives easy. All our lives, when I say our lives, I mean customer. I'm a customer first before anything.
Well, and I like that. I like that you guys actually use the camera, so that way, like, because sometimes, you know, you get feedback to a company and they're like, we don't really know. Is that really something that people care about? But when you guys actually use it, you actually get a chance to be like, oh no, they're right. We're also experiencing the same thing. All right, so we got a special question that came in via a super chat from Mr. Cam Mackey, and his question was, how is the KX doing the highlight recovery? So what is this magic that's going on in the new highlight recovery?
So some of you might remember HDRX, and this isn't HDRX or Magic Motion. It started as one thing and evolved into another. But HDRX is kind of the precursor to what our recovery is. So you don't need this highlight recovery. You don't need to use it. This isn't fixing anything to do with global shutter. You're not fixing the limitations of a global shutter by adding this special mode. We've already done that. You've seen that on the Komodo with the global shutter. We've already beat the, you know, some say the laws of physics, but it's not. It's just really smart engineering. We've already made global shutter as good as rolling shutter. So the other thing that you get when you have a global shutter and a ton of horsepower that the Raptor has is something that Graham and Lauren, you know, are two really smart guys at Red, kind of looked at what we did in the past and then took all this horsepower that we had plus the global shutter and made a new version that basically takes multiple images and combines them. It's a really, really stupid and simple way to say it, but it runs so fast, this camera, that you can capture different. Oh, is that me doing that?
As you guys can tell, this is live. This is not pre-recorded. He's got out.
I don't know. The start happened to me yesterday. These hand gestures, like I go like this, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, look.
Oh my God. Your computer is just so excited about these new features. That's
it's on board.
And fireworks. I love it.
It's so exciting. You know, that's just how it is. That's what we're talking about.
So anyways, the one thing you probably noted, it's really hard, and you guys already said it's really hard to blow out this camera anyways. Just the normal Raptor, the OG Raptor. We got to call Raptor OG now. But it's really hard to blow it, but there's some situations where there's just a little slice of sky, or some chrome somewhere, or something just going nuclear in the background that takes away your eye. So you wish that could come back into the range of something that camera can resolve, but you don't want to underexpose everything else in the scene just to bring that back. So this highlight recovery is really great to extend, where you can all of a sudden grab that stuff back, and you can just leave it. If you're not shooting high frame rates, you can just leave this mode on all the time. You see what's going on your monitor, so you can expose correctly, and you can turn it off if it does something, because sometimes it's weird when a blown out sky all of a sudden comes back into, it's like one of those really weird HDR effects where all of a sudden everything's in exposure. So you have that control to turn it off if you want, as long as you're not shooting ProRes, only ProRes, of course. But when you're shooting red code, you can shut that off in post. So it's just a nice little kind of icing on top. So you're still getting that 17. You guys explained it better than I did, actually. You still get that 17 stops just with all that stuff off. But to grab that extra 3 stops when you need it as kind of a safety, it's really nice to have. So we're really excited about that. And that has a lot to do with harnessing the global shutter, of course, because it removes all the artifacts that broke HDRX in the past, and just the speed that this camera can run at and the horsepower.
So I have my follow-up question then becomes, is like, with this new horsepower that the camera has and the new speed that it can actually operate at, is this what has like improved the autofocus or the intelligent autofocus of the actual camera? And like, how are we, like, what differences are we going to see from Raptor and KX's updates to now having face detect or face tracking autofocus to now this new phase detect in the Raptor X?
Yeah. So, and I got to be careful because I'm running on so many builds, of course, in front of normal release builds, but Komodo X has,
so you're confirming we got some exciting things coming.
Komodo X obviously has, some really strong autofocus abilities. That's kind of where this really started to pick up. And I think we just released a build a couple months ago that showed some of that work. The autofocus is really actually a combination of, mostly it's an algorithm thing. It's phase detect on the sensor. So the sensor has a lot to do with it, which we use now instead of contrast autofocus, which is some cameras still use it, but it's really horrible. And so when we have that horsepower, we can do things, but there's always, every lens has to be calibrated. So autofocus to the level that Sony and Canon and Nikon and everybody, they make the lenses. So it's all one system that they can kind of have talk to each other, because the speed, it's not just what lenses. It's like if you have an 85 millimeter 1.2, that glass is really heavy. So to move it is a lot slower. So the camera needs to know, okay, we want to autofocus really fast, but we can't because mechanically it's really heavy. So every lens has to be calibrated by us, recalibrated to match what the autofocus is doing. So that's really one of the biggest limitations now that we have all the hardware in the camera, is just the software work that it takes. And that's why you see with firmware updates, every few firmware updates, you get this pretty big jump in autofocus ability. And it's actually way further than, when we started autofocus on the Komodo, way back when the OG Komodo came out, I really didn't expect much. Like I thought it would take us a decade to get up to where these other guys are going. And don't get me wrong, like Sony autofocus is pretty fucking incredible. But all the other guys are kind of the same, but we're getting really, really good at the autofocus. And that's mostly this continued software work that's going on, and the calibrating of lenses. And so a lot of lenses have actually gotten a lot better too, because when Canon needs to make the lens lens and makes it better at focusing and better speeds and quieter motors and less breathing and all that stuff, we benefit from that. And that's one of the beauties of, you know, having that Canon mount on our cameras. We kind of inherit a lot of that stuff.
Okay. So I guess it's safe to say that going forward, you guys are pretty invested in that RF mount. And that's one of the, I think, is it finding ways to work within these new RF cameras? RF lenses? Because as we know, Canon's still coming out with new RF lenses. It feels like every couple months. So when that lens comes out, is it at that point you guys have to start the calibration process of that lens and then make sure that it'll work well within the camera?
Yes, absolutely. And then of course, there's lenses actually have firmware updates as well. Sometimes most of them are invisible to the user. That kind of happens through the camera when you put it on, and a lot of cameras don't even tell you it's happening. So we got to kind of keep track of that. But you know, and you said it before at the beginning when we this guy, you know, this
wait, you got to hold it really good so I can get a thumbnail.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. This is my camera's backwards here. So
Love it.
But this is a nice you know, we make Panavision's DXL, of course, so that's kind of one of these unions that people Panavision used to hate us when we started Red. Absolutely hated us because we were a little disruptive to the rental industry, and we were kind of cowboys about the whole thing, so we were kind of disruptive in not a good way for a lot of people, and they just didn't like the way that we were doing things, and people thought that we would never work together. And you know, we ended up making their camera with them, of course. And then Arri was another one where, oh my God, you know, it's Red versus Arri, and people don't realize how well we work together. How I have a lot of relationships with all of these companies. It's kind of like saying, you know, directors versus directors. There's some directors that hate each other, of course. We hear about those. But a lot of them work together, even though they're technically competitors. It's the same thing as in our industry. In the camera industry, there's a lot of people, you know, that are grumpy about things, and they're usually quite older for whatever reason. But I have a lot of great relations. So Canon mount, the RF mount, I chose that on the camera, you know, back on the Komodo, because it was just the best mount at that time. You know, it wasn't a relationship thing. It wasn't, you know, Canon asking us to do it or anything like that. It was because it was the best tool made by somebody else. And when you look at relationships like that, where you can actually benefit from being friendly with your competitors, because people do better things than we do, a lot better than we do. We do some things better than our competitors do. And this world is too small, and the economy is kind of wacky. You can't just do stuff yourself. You know, it's not the smartest way to do business, is just to isolate yourself and, you know, put your fist up against everybody else that is your competitor. And I could say the same thing of filmmakers as well, working together and working with people that you don't think you'd work together, that is competing for many of the same jobs. You just benefit from it. It's really something that I embraced when we started allowing third parties on accessories. And that was a long time ago. You know, that was DSMC 2 time, when we tried to make everything ourselves. And I have a warehouse of stuff and accessories that are just junk. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. We made a lot of really bad stuff. And that stuff is, you know, you learn from that, and you learn, okay, maybe we don't need to do everything ourselves. And, you know, we had a booth at NAB one year, and I blocked off half of our booth to who used to be our competitors, third-party accessory companies like Frame.io that was making stuff. That was their first Frame.io, who, you know, Adobe picked up, but with a huge acquisition, they had their first show in our booth at NAB during that time, where I was like, let's let third parties kind of come in and work with us and benefit our customers, because if we have to make 1,000 things, we're only going to be able to allocate 15 minutes of time to making a proper top plate. Whereas if there's a company that just makes top plates and they can spend 24 hours a day making it, you better believe they're probably going to do better than you. So why not just, you know, work with them instead of trying to do it all yourself? So that was the biggest kind of thing. And you'll see that from us. You've seen that from us working with companies like Arri and Panavision, and even behind the scenes, like most, you know, this patent stuff is crazy with our red code. We've licensed red code to almost every company that matters. You know, there's not this big war. You gotta wait for the patent to expire. We've embraced this. We created it was very expensive to create that technology, but we're not keeping it to ourselves. We work with every company, and it's kind of sharing that technology. And then we get a lot of things either you know, from not camera companies that help us. You know, this Mutiny company that makes accessories, they just came out of nowhere. Just two guys really in their garage making accessories. It's like, literally, you know, it is such a beautiful story. But they make things better than most big companies do. And I just look at these guys, I'm like, oh my God, why wouldn't we embrace these guys? And then, you know, there's 100 other, you know, two people in a garage making things. And you're like, wow, okay, let's just all be a community, work together, and everybody wins. We win. It costs us less in development, and we don't have to hire 5 million engineers to do everything. The community wins, and you as filmmakers win, because the products just get better and better and better.
Yeah, and I think we've definitely seen that upgrade as we moved from 2 to 3 with the KX, or with the Komodo when it first came out, like accessories being partnered in, and like now, like, you know, some like a company that I would already buy their monitor, Small HD, you guys are now partnering with them to make the 7-inch touch monitor, which is like, it now just works better. Because I was going to buy a Small HD monitor anyway, but now because it works directly, like natively with the camera, it just makes my system work easier. Angel Bird cards, things like that. And I think for anyone who's watching this, Jared just dropped like a gem like it was nothing, because it was like on the high level of, you know, these big camera companies. But as filmmakers, like, this is the exact same thing that we should be doing. Like, we should be working together, finding local creators in your area, or even people who don't necessarily live in your area. I mean, like me and Justin, we talk probably like 3 or 4 times a week. And we're talking about, like, his business is weddings, my business is corporate, but like, we're giving each other advice. We're helping each other. We're both making social content and giving each other advice on the social content. And so we're technically like competitors for attention, but like at the end of the day, we're both just trying to help people. So if we can help each other help more people, it just becomes a bigger domino that can kind of like tower down and just continue to help more people, which I think is a great nugget that Jared kind of gave from like the high level of like cameras. But I think anyone who's watching this can take that bit of information and apply it to really anything that you're doing. And I think that's really important. Justin, I know you had a question for him, so I'll let you go ahead and ask your question next, and kind of bring it up.
Well, he kind of answered it. My biggest thing was about the highlight. And you actually said this too, which I found out actually too, that you're not sacrificing your shadow. And that's like the biggest thing, is that you can now push and get highlight recovery without, like, most of us, we would have to pick and choose, like, okay, do I want to, you know, expose for this little bit of chrome on the car, or like this little bit of, you know, specular highlights? And to do that, you've got to darken the whole image, which means, okay, do I care about the stuff in the tree, under the trees and the shade? Whereas now we can keep it where it's at and then just get that extra little juice from the camera because of like the processing power and what it's capable of doing. So you kind of answered it. Like that was my biggest thing, was just asking about how that, you know, how that happened, you know, how you're able to like pull that off. So that's pretty awesome.
That was eloquent. You said it very well, and that was a good that was a really good summary, because I tend to just talk and talk and talk. But you're right, you know, when you turn it on and off, nothing's happening from your 17 stops down. That's just, you know, that's just real sensor happening. So when you turn it on, it's just giving you that extra stuff at the top, and you don't have to worry, you know, oh my God, if I turn this on, and the only sacrifice is obviously you're recording both tracks is frame rates. So you can't shoot, you know, full frame rates when it's on, because that has to go to that highlight track, which is great because that separates them completely. So you have the normal track, and then you have this highlight track, and you can decide, I'm going to put it on and put it off.
So speaking of the track, this is something that I'm personally been like, just like, I've been obsessing over this, I think, for like the last 2 years. And on the show, it's kind of like a joke that eventually I will get an LED wall in here and turn this entire thing into a virtual production. And I noticed the new Phantom track that you guys have in this camera. So it feels like, because I saw it with the KX already, like global shutter, definitely there's a huge benefit to using that on an LED wall, especially gen locking it directly in. But now you guys have this new Phantom track that's taking virtual production sort of to that next level, where you can basically be able to film not only the actual digital environment, but also then get a green screen track as well in case you want to do stuff in post. So like, how do you see this technology advancing? Because this isn't something that I'm seeing pretty much on any other camera, or that I'm at least aware of.
Yeah, there's two, you know, this technology really, Megapixel and Brompton kind of both have this. Unreal has, you know, the ability to support it, but it because of especially the global shutter. It's why you see global shutter. I mean, even Arri uses Komodos on their virtual production stage. You can see it in their ads, which is awesome.
I saw that.
But
awesome.
That global shutter really helps, especially when you're doing these kind of things where you're doing that Phantom track. You can almost think of it kind of like what the highlights does, but in a different way. So that's really that virtual production for me. And it's something that I've talked to a lot. You know, if I didn't have this business and I had to think of a business or a product to create, it would be wall panels for normal people. Like for me, I would spend all my money creating 1 foot by 1 foot, you know, 1/2 inch thick panels that all link together. So you and me and most people watching this didn't have to spend $1 million to make a wall. You could use this as your normal TV when you're watching, and just put, you know, 20 of these things together to make a big screen TV, which is easier to ship, you know, and so many reasons. But a consumer level panel is, I hope somebody's working on it. I really do, because that's when our world is going to change. And that's going to make, you know, everybody's done green screen before, but right now, I mean, I've worked with some of the biggest filmmakers, and when they get deep, they want to do virtual production on the big level, but also for pickups and stuff on the little level. And it's just too hard to get, you know, even a 10-foot wall, it's really expensive. You have to, people don't realize how much power and heat those things generate. And so you have to have air conditioning and bring in new power. So for me, I'm just in my mind imagining, okay, these consumer panels are going to come sometime. Somebody's got to be working on these things. When that comes, a lot of people are going to be using them, and not just for directly shooting, but for lighting as well. Like I've seen a lot of really great examples. Most of the ceilings in virtual production stages are just purely to augment lighting. People aren't actually shooting into them, but you can do some really cool things with RGB lighting effects using these virtual production stages. So be able to sync with the camera. And, you know, Jeff Goodman who's kind of our god of product at Red. He really dived deep into virtual production a couple of years ago and made that kind of his personal passion. So he's been driving that hard, and it's why our camera works so well in those scenarios, and it's just advancing. But I think that missing piece is that consumer level, and once that happens, we're going to be ready. So that's why, you know, that's kind of why we're pushing this so far, because we do think there's a future to it when that happens. But right now, I don't, you know, humbly, I think we're the best camera for shooting virtual production, period. It's, you know, just from a technical aspect. So we're really excited to follow that.
Well, you can say it humbly, and I will say it unhumbly.
I was about to say.
This is the best camera for virtual productions. I have been on a few virtual production sets, and we always go back. We went to the original Komodo for the longest, and now we use the KX on it, and it really does make a huge difference. And like, I'm not the technical guy. Like Jared broke down like the expenses and the heat and all of that, but there's a whole nother level of technical work that has to go to virtual productions, like Unreal artists and having people who understand like the tracking and all of that stuff. And I'm normally like just directing on the sets or cam opping or something, but like to understand that whole side is a whole nother list of work. And on each of the jobs that I've been on, when a Red camera is in the center of the production, it just goes so much smoother. And like, obviously I don't know all the technical stuff, but I can say that when we have like the KX in the center, it's by far the smoothest that we ever have to deal with. And we don't ever have to deal with any issues or delays on the actual screen, especially once it's gen locked. That global shutter makes a huge difference. And so that has been absolutely huge. Jared, we won't take up too much more of your time, but I do want to ask one final question of you. And when it comes to like, obviously you guys are very secretive. Like we had no idea this was coming, and you just dropped this on us out of nowhere. I'm like getting excited about an EVF off your teasers, and then like you drop this on us. So like, to save me from having another day of just like losing all productivity because I'm like now going down the rabbit hole, what are some of the things right now that you guys are excited about and that you guys are constantly pushing towards or working towards next that you can share with us? Obviously, I know you can't share everything, but what are some things that you guys are currently excited about that you guys have coming up next or that you're currently working on for the industry?
Well, I think you touched on, you know, and I'm sorry if we kind of ruined your day, but in a good way. But it's not as much as keeping secret. You know, when we started Red, we used to say, this is what we're doing in 5 years, and this is the cameras we're making for 5 years. And it was dumb. I mean, you know, we not even release the camera we're working on, and we're already talking publicly about the next one. That's not a good way to run a business. But, you know, apart from learning from that, we also noticed kind of in the industry, actually every industry, people announce stuff and then they're like, oh, shipping sometime next year. And as a customer, I just started hating that because I know it's wrong, but I feel like, oh, you know, what I have doesn't matter. I need to have this new thing. I'm a horrible consumer like that. But it also
you're in the company of others. You're okay. You're in a safe space. We're all the same.
Yeah. We all feel that anger because like don't tell me that this is gonna change my life and tell me I can't get it for it. I hate. Yeah,
I know. I can't stand it. So I kind of made this dedication a few years ago that when we announce stuff, it better be in a box ready to ship. And if you notice, we've been doing that. You know, some accessories just take some time to get through the manufacturing process, especially when we don't make them all. But with the cameras, it's like, let's announce it when it's ready to ship to customers. And that seems just to be a good idea. It upsets some people because they're like, oh, I just bought my camera 3 months ago, and now you announce this new one. That's going to happen with technology. Well, it's going to happen with anything, really. Technology, you know, cars, there's a new car every year. It doesn't mean you have to buy the new thing every time. You probably should jump, you know, one or two until it's right for you. again, I'm a horrible consumer and I just forget about that. You know, I buy a new iPhone every year, even if I don't need to, and there's really nothing about it. You know, it's just one of those things where I like Apple, where they're like, okay, we're, except for the Vision Pro, but usually with their phone, it's like, okay, here's the phone, we're announcing it, and you just got to wait 2 weeks. That's okay for me. I'm like, okay, I'll wait a couple of weeks if I get in my order in quickly and I can have it. But this 6 months coming in the spring or fall or whatever just drives me crazy. So we've stopped kind of doing that. It doesn't mean I don't tease out, and you know, it's very strategic, my post. And there's some things, like you've seen images from this Raptor X months ago that I posted. You know, there's very strategic testing, you know, that's going on behind the scenes. But I think it's just better for everybody, including you guys, if we just don't say, hey, we're working on this next, and it's still 6 months or a year away, but get excited about it and still love what you have. I think it's better just to drop it and say it's ready. You know, there's no, the other thing, and I'm sorry, this is a long answer, but the other thing that is good about that is it's ready when it's ready. So if you say,
no pun intended.
Yeah, well,
when it's ready.
When it's ready. But if we say, hey, here's our Raptor X and it's coming in 6 months, and May 1st, the engineers are working until, you know, April 30th, and they might not have everything done, but we've already committed to this date. So it's got to be pushed it out, and maybe it's not ready. Whereas something like this, and this time, like when this is ready, we didn't set this date in stone, you know, yesterday, saying this is when we're going to release it. When we started, it's kind of like, okay, let engineering have their time, let marketing have their time. We still have these soft deadlines to get things done. But if it came to yesterday and, oh my God, the camera starts on fire sometimes when we start it, you know, most companies, there'd be a discussion between marketing and product and financing, like, okay, well, we'll just tell people it's a firmware update and it won't start on fire, you know, down the road. We can just say, hey, nobody knows about this camera yet, so let's just wait a week and see if the engineers can fix the fire from happening, and nobody's feelings get hurt, nobody, you know, gets upset. And then next Thursday, we would have been having, you know, that discussion. So it just works on so many ways. I want the industry to get away from this announce now, or, you know, I will always tease. It's just, and my team hates it. I'm horrible. I just get too excited about things. But teasing a week before is a lot better than, you know, a year or 6 months before. Even, you know, 3 months is a little bit hard. So I just think that's best. So that's a really long answer to you. I'm not going to tell you what we're working on next. But
that was smooth workaround, though.
But it's a lot of, you know, I really enjoy collaborating with other companies that are really good at doing things. So that's what I'm excited personally about, and I think you'll see a lot of that come from us. This Airy Tron camera, you know, that was just a small little thing for this movie and the cinematographer, but we learned a lot of things. You know, they had to make a special mount for their lenses, and you know, they have a lot of great technology, and I love that. And it's not just like Airy, like Mutiny. That guy makes stuff, and I'm picking on Mutiny, but there's a million companies like this now. I just love working with these people that have these really keen abilities to make things that we wouldn't have even thought about, and have the time to dedicate to make them really good. So that's kind of, you know, collaboration, I think, and us working with other companies is something that you'll probably see in the future. I just won't tell you exactly what that is.
That's okay. I appreciate that answer more, because it actually hits more of the pain points that I think we deal with on a regular basis. You know, you get excited about this camera, it gets announced. It's like, oh, you're like, you go pre-order it, but you don't know when it's going to ship. And then depending on the brand, and everybody knows what brand I'm talking about, they'll drop a new camera before yours even shipped. And now you're You're stuck. Look, Porter can't look. It's
Wow,
so annoying when that
It
happens.
is. It
You
is.
can't even get your camera, and it's like I'm excited about this camera, and it hasn't shipped yet. But then you go drop a new camera, and it's got newer features. Should I cancel my order and then get like it's a never-ending cycle? So I can appreciate your answer, even though it's not an answer. I can appreciate your answer, but more importantly, I appreciate your time and you coming on here and just answering questions for us and just being here for the community, because it really does make a difference, and we really do appreciate it. It goes a long way.
I'm a big fan of both you guys, Mr. Porter, James, and Riley. Say hi. I know you spent a lot of time with them, and they were inspired by you. I think in Toronto. Is that where you?
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah. So thank you for giving them that much time. It was crazy how much time you guys spent together. But both of you guys, and Brandon, keep killing it, because I followed you from the beginning, and I just love the passion. You can tell you love what you're doing. So, and you're sharing that with the world. So keep on going, guys. I love it.
We really appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you coming on.
Can I just say like one quick little, I just got to say, hold up. All right. You know how hard it was? I don't know if he's still watching, but bro, I was trying to contain myself. Oh my, I almost jumped out of body. Like, I'm like, this is the guy. Bro, it was either, I was either going to go, blah, 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 and it was all coming out, or I had to just stay quiet. Just smile, Justin, smile, nod your head, smile. Like, bro, I just think it's dope. Like, bro, I really think it's dope when he didn't have to do that. He could have he probably got a list of people. He could have said, hey, hop on Brandon's live stream. They're going to ask you a couple nonsense questions. Just, answer it and be done. Like but for him to take that time and just say, yeah, you know what? And then he said something that really, really got me. He's been supporting you from the jump, which is like, I don't just sell cameras to people, or I'm not just trying to make the best camera and run the industry or anything like that. It's like, I'm actually a creator. I follow the creators. I love the people that are supporting us and using our brand. I want to see what they're doing with it. I just think that by itself, like, I'm already a Red fan, but that by itself just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I like it. Like, now I'm excited. Like, I want to go buy another.
I chose the right
I feel
team.
like I'm with a right team. Exactly. There we go.
No,
Go. Okay, I'm done.
No, I totally agree with you 100%, man. And like, literally, when I tell you, like, he has, I can vouch that he has been supporting and watching the content from the longest, because ironically, there was like a series that I actually loved that was near and dear to my heart. It was called Dope Film Tech, and we made these videos. And when I tell you, these were the flops of all flops on YouTube. Nobody was watching these videos, but I loved them. I thought they were so great. And he commented on it and told me how much he enjoyed that video. And like, I was like, yo, that means the world to me. Like, I don't think he realizes how much that meant to me, that he liked that video in particular, because it was a flop by YouTube metric standards, but it was like one of my favorite videos I had ever done. Cause y'all know I'm a gearhead. So it was like the ultimate gearhead type video. And so that was just like, I mean, he has been an amazing guy to be on here. And I'm really excited that we have a show like this where we can do this. So yeah, it was an awesome experience. Guys, all right, Jarrell, you're looking at me. What, you think we got time to do it?
I think we have time to do it. Hey,
okay.
chat, every week we play a game. And before I set up this game for you, we got another bougie intro. You want to see it?
Oh, we got the bougie intro. You ready? Okay, Matt.
Hey, chat, do we have any 90s babies in here?
If you were born in the 90s, I guarantee you're going to love this. Now, before we got started, y'all can actually already see it on Mr. Porter's desk, but I sent him a little special something. Hey, hit it for the people one time. He's not good at taking directions. I said one.
Oh, my bad.
Brandon,
well, you didn't say
it won't work.
My hype button works. Watch this one time. All right, Jarrell, let's walk through this game and let's get this thing knocked out.
All right, chat. We are playing a brand new game, and this is a little bit different. This is going to be a speed game. This is the reason why we got the hype buttons, because it's going to be the first person on the buzzer. They're going to answer the question. So this game is called Guess the Gear. Each round, we're going to do 10 rounds, and we're going to have a different piece of gear show up on the screen. Now, the first person to hit their buzzer, they're going to be able to guess what that piece of gear is. Now, specifics count. You can get a point if you get the gear right. But if Brandon or Justin decides to buzz in and they say the specific model number, they can steal that point from the person that gave the first guess. But we also want to include some stakes in this. And so basically what's going to happen is if you get it wrong, you also lose a point.
Oh,
Brandon, Justin, is it clear? And are you guys ready?
So I can start off by being in the negative if I get the first one. Like, can you lose a point if you have no points?
You can go -1.
Oh,
oh my goodness. Oh, this is tough. Okay. All right. Question. Are button placements? Can I hold my button or my buttons got to sit?
I'm right here.
So we can just
right
click.
here.
We can just snap our fingers and boom. All right.
But just remember, okay? Like, let's say I throw up something like, I don't know, like one of these little amarans over here, okay? And you just say amaran. All right. If Brandon goes more specific and he gives us like a model number, he can take the point from you. So it's not just about being fast, it's also about being right.
After you buzz in, how long do you have to answer? 3
You got
seconds?
3 seconds.
3 seconds. All right.
Okay.
Let's run this. Chat, y'all gonna have to be quick because I'm gonna need help. Y'all know I need y'all's help.
Oh wait, you looking at the chat? Hold on, let me get the chat up. That ain't. Let me get the chat.
No. We're not looking at the chat. Don't worry about the
No,
chat.
you already called it. All right, sorry, it's up. I'm watching.
All right.
Also, chat, we want you guys to play. You guys can put your comments in. We'll see how many you guys get. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's run it.
All right, let's pull this up maybe. All right.
You got to pull yourself off. There we go.
Whoa. There we go. All right, you guys ready?
I'm ready. Oh shoot.
I'm judge. Oh wait, that was it, right? The red?
That was it. Yep.
Okay, so I'm guessing by the shape, it was like a Canon R5.
I want to guess.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna go. That's a DSLR. That's a Canon T. Do I have to be very specific on the number? Because it could be a T2i or a T3i.
Well, whoever's closer.
Okay, I'm going Canon DSLR, T2i or T3i.
Let's see. It's the Canon T2i.
I knew it.
Oh, come on.
Get out of here.
Cheated. Brandon knew.
No.
This is Brandon's game. No. It's rigged. It's rigged, y'all.
That's my camera. Bro,
It's rigged. It's
so
rigged.
long.
Okay.
Brandon,
All right.
Justin,
I'm negative.
Get out of here.
All right, it's 1 to -1.
God,
You
all
lost
right.
a point.
So if I get a point here, I'm at 0.
Yes. All right, you guys
Dang.
ready?
Okay.
Run it.
Yeah.
Round 2.
Oh shoot, I know what it is too.
I know it's the DJI Osmo Pocket, but I guess Brandon can say Pocket too because I think it's one of them.
Can I buzz in on that?
If you want to.
Oh wait, I lose a point if I'm wrong, right?
You lose a point if you're wrong.
I'm all right.
No, buzz in on it.
Justin, you get the point. It's 0 to 1.
All right, run it.
All right.
Why am I shaking?
Oh shit.
What is that?
That looked like a Sony A7S.
Ooh.
Probably with a kit lens, like a kit lens on that bad boy.
Oh, it's got some weird flip screen. I'm just gonna let him lose a point. I don't know.
I'm in it. I'm gambling. I'm gambling. Oh no, I'm way off.
It's the Hasselblad.
Oh god.
It's the Hasselblad.
I thought it could have been a Hasselblad, but I wasn't sure. Dang it. All right.
This
let's
is
run.
hard. This is hard. Next round.
I'm not hitting the button.
No.
I'm letting Brandon do this. So hold on, wait. What's the score? I'm back at
-1 to 1.
Negative again.
Travis knew what it was. Travis knew.
Let me. I'm about to
Scott
watch
also
the
knew.
chat.
Scott got it.
All right. Next one.
Oh dang it. Why did I do that? I'm gonna go Sony A60. He's already laughing. I got it wrong. Sony A60, A6, the one that flips this way. No, wait, no, that's not it.
So Justin, are you going to? Are
Sony
you
camera.
gonna? Justin, are you gonna be quiet and not lose, or are you gonna try to guess what it is?
Risk it.
I'm not risking it. I have no idea with the flip screen. There's too many cameras that do that. Like
All right, let's see. It's the
oh
Insta
yes, all right.
360.
So my boy's at
Oh,
zero.
see, I got mixed up by the sizes. Okay,
See?
I'm looking at scale. I messed up.
All righty, it's -1 to 0.
He
How
said
we gonna-
scale. He said
Somebody
you had
win
this
this game with no
looking like the size of a pocket, but it was a little action cam.
Okay, I'm recalibrated. Let's go. What? A circle?
I don't know.
What is it?
It's a lens cap.
Justin, do you want to go more specific?
Oh wait, it's a Condor Blue lens cap. Cause I got it. I got that.
Yeah,
exact-
I don't know. I'm not gonna chime in on this. Oh, come on, bro. Hey, I'm telling y'all, it's rigged. Brandon knows.
It sits on my Raptor at almost all times.
Yeah, I don't have one of those, so I didn't even know what that looked like. So I didn't even, yeah.
Justin, you're gonna get back in this. I believe in you.
I'm back in this. I'm coming.
Wait,
What's
how
the score?
that,
What's
bro?
the score?
It's 1
It's
to
1 to -1.
This
So you're
sound
not
like
that far.
It's like a soccer match.
Brandon gets one wrong. You get one right. We're
Get back
tied.
in there.
Okay.
Oh, that's
And boy, that's that Lauer probe lens. Do I gotta say the millimeter? All right, the millimeter. That's the Lauer probe lens. You can't. There's no more accuracy than that, unless he knows the model.
Wait, if I know the but if I guess
No,
I'm wrong,
the millimeter. No, the millimeter is just an extra. No, that's like you gotta come with the exact few number.
I'm not
You gonna
risk
risk
it.
it?
I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna
Alrighty.
risk it. I don't know what it is.
It's the 24.
24.
Yes.
See, I was gonna
So-
say 22. I'm so glad I didn't risk it. I've been so mad. I lost a
you
point.
should have went for it.
No, I would have
That would
lost.
have been tied up. Alrighty, it is 0 to 1.
All
0
right,
to 1.
0 to 1.
0 to 1.
0 to
Alrighty,
1.
next round.
Oh my God, what is?
That is the
Oh,
DJI Mavic Pro. Oh shoot! I'm gonna stop there. DJI Mavic Pro.
so let me.
I'm just gonna stop at Pro.
3. I'll say the number 3.
Okay,
Mavic
so
Pro
he
3.
said the Mavic Pro 3. So here's my question: if I say the DJI like Mavic, you know what? I'm just gonna chime out. It is one of the DJI drones, but Brandon can get this one. I can't afford to go backwards.
It is the Mavic 3 Pro.
All right, there you go.
So yeah, see,
2 to 0.
2 to 0. Oh my God.
I thought you were gonna call out if it was the Cine version or not or something.
It could have been.
That's what I was gonna say, but I was like, I don't know. I just did because if I would have said Cine, then I would have lost a point, right?
You would have lost one. Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
next round.
damn. That is the Ready Rig.
I don't know model number.
You're gonna.
Nope.
He said no.
Justin, I picked that one for you.
Yes, sir.
You.
Let's go.
And
I
you
almost
say
said
it's
easy
rigged.
rig, but
And you say it's rigged. He picking stuff for you.
I picked something for you.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, the M50 or whatever that
Right.
was, the
It was a
T2i.
T2i. Put
It's
respect on it.
1 to 2. It's 1 to 2. You were still in this. All right.
All right.
Next round.
All right.
Someone said obviously that was a jetpack. Oh, ooh. I think he's gonna get it wrong.
Ooh, man. That actually looked like the Godox LD 150R, but I don't know. That size didn't look like the Nova. It didn't look like the Nova.
I'm gonna say it's a sky panel.
Ah,
It
it's
is
the same shape as the 150.
Let's
It's
go.
the same shape.
So Brandon went up a point. He is at 3. Justin went down a point. He is at 1.
See? So
No,
am
you're
I
zero.
really the gearhead or is it Brandon, y'all?
Kofi got it. Kofi knew what it was.
He knew.
Kofi in there with it. Dang. I'm finna look at the chat. They know it. I'm finna
They've
go. Go ahead,
been
Scott.
hitting on
Guess this
every
next one,
single
Scott. You
one.
got it.
All right, I need to look at something real quick because I think this might be our last one, and I might change. Yes, this is what I'm gonna do. Alrighty, this is what I'm gonna do.
All right, let's make it interesting.
This next
It's-
one
it's-
is worth 4 points,
What?
or you'll lose 4 points.
What?
Here we go.
How?
It's 4 points, or you'll lose 4 points.
I feel like
Y'all
this
need to
is-
be quick with it.
This has got to be like whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter if I'm winning.
Are you guys ready?
All right, let's run it.
How was that simultaneous?
That was-
yes.
Gosh, that was
Ah.
simultaneous.
I think I hit the button too soon,
Matt,
man.
who do you
I
think
don't
it was?
know. I don't know.
Chat, who do you think it was? The first comment in the chat will give the first guess.
First comment in the chat, Jonathan.
Somebody type my name in the chat,
Justin
please.
or Brandon?
Type
Justin
my
or
name in
Brandon?
the chat. Type my name in the chat.
There's the delay.
Oh,
Justin.
no.
All right.
Oh, Justin, what is
No.
it? Now remember, you can always still. You can get real specific.
Okay.
I hit the button too soon. I'm gonna
If you
say what they
forget
said.
what it
I was gonna
looked
say Raptor XL. Raptor XL.
Okay. I got nothing to lose. So I'm gonna go Raptor XL.
Wait, you do, because if you get this wrong, you lose 4 points, which will
Yeah,
make
but if
me the
you
winner.
gain 4 points, you're gonna be beating me anyway.
Okay, all right.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with the Raptor X XL, the new one.
What?
Bro, hold up,
The
hold
same
up.
thing as him?
Time out,
you said
time
the-
out.
You
No,
said the
no.
Raptor XL.
Okay,
You
okay,
said
I did,
I
but my
said
head,
Raptor
okay.
XL. There's a difference. There's a difference. Put respect on it.
Specific.
What is that? Is that
Brandon
I don't
is
see
correct.
X. I don't see
It is.
X.
You see it in the corner? You see it in the corner?
Where?
Get out of here, bro.
Justin won anybody.
Run it.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Let's go. Let's go. The chat tried to help you, bro. They put your name in there first. I feel disrespected. It's my
I lost,
show.
babe. I lost. I lost to the host.
Oh gosh, you had the chance. It was your game to win or lose.
Boy, I'm shaking. That creates a lot of anxiety, bro. Man.
Hey, chat, let us know how y'all did. Let us know in the chat how good was it. How'd y'all do? If y'all did good on there or not. Oh man.
Forfeit the studio now.
Does he even shoot red?
Yeah, for real.
For real.
For
How
real.
dare you not know? That's clearly an X.
For real. Get with it. Awesome. Dude, that was so much fun. Jarrell, great job. Round of applause. Everybody
Yeah, that
give
was fun.
Jarrell a round of applause at your house, wherever you're watching this on that game. That was a lot of fun. We got to do that one again. I enjoyed that one. All right, real quick. Guys, I know we normally end this like right at 12:30 and we're over because we had that special guest. Jared was here. It was totally worth it. But before we get out of here, huge news. Huge news. Okay, you guys just saw that we've been talking about this new camera. And as a lot of you guys probably can imagine, purchasing this camera is out of a lot of our capabilities. Like, this is a very expensive camera, and you're probably not going to have the opportunity to purchase it. You might end up trying to rent it. But without even really trying to set this up, but it just kind of worked out. I mentioned last week that we are going to be hosting a in-person event, and now it is official. We can start giving you guys the details on this event. The first thing I want to say is that I can officially confirm that the new camera, the Raptor X, will be at my event. It will be at my event, and we are extremely excited about this. So this is a Red workshop, and if you want to see the details about it, we have a link in the description right now. You can check it out. It'll take you directly there. Jarrell's looking crazy. I put it in there. It's in the description, not the chat. It's in the description. The link is in the description.
Yep, it's in there.
And you can sign up right now. Put your email address in. Tickets will go on sale on February 9th, and we will have a lot of information, but I'm excited to announce for the very first time that Mr. Justin Porter will be at this event. It is a local event. It'll be here in Houston, and it is going to be on March 2nd. That is a Saturday, and we are extremely excited. On top of that, in the chat, you guys have been getting tons of information from James. You guys see James down there? He is actually going to be at this event too, because we have Red showing up and training in person at our event. So we're going to have guest speakers going up. We're going to have Red cameras there for you guys to actually use. We're going to have the new cameras there. Red's representatives are going to be at this event. It is going to be the biggest event that we put on probably this year. But actually, you know what? We always go bigger, so it might not be, but I guarantee you it's going to be a huge event.
It's just the start.
It's a strong start.
Strong start.
We're really, really excited about this event. I am throwing everything at the wall for this. So I would love for you guys to check out the link, put your email address in there. We're going to be sending out more information. You guys will know first when tickets go on sale and when you can actually sign up to go to this event, because the truth is that this event has so many moving parts. We want to make sure that you get hands-on with the cameras. So this means we're going to have Reds there for you to actually shoot with. Also, we talked with Jared earlier about how virtual productions is the future of production. So we will have an LED wall at this event as well for you to be able to actually shoot on. So you'll get firsthand experience shooting on an LED wall. And we're going to, like I said before, we're going to have cameras there. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it will be limited to just 100 people. We are limiting it. We are capping it at 100 people. So you are going to want to get your tickets early. I'll let you guys know when those tickets go on sale. But right now, I just want to make sure you guys are extremely hype about it. Definitely check out the link in the description and go put your email address in. So that way you are notified first when everything happens and as we continue to push out updates for this event. This is going to be one of the best events I think you're going to be able to go to, because we are throwing everything at the wall for this, because ultimately I want you guys to have the best experience you can. So I'm working with an amazing team. As I said before, Mr. Porter's going to be there. My team's going to be there. We're working with this awesome production company here in Houston called Captive, and they're Captive Studios. And so actually, when you go to the website, you can check out their studio. You can see the virtual wall there. You can see all the things that they offer. It's a massive, amazing space for us to be able to create at. And so I am super, super excited about this event. Put it on your calendars right now. March 2nd. Go ahead and block it off. Do what you need to do. Tell your wife, tell your kids, I am not available on March 2nd because I have to be at this event. If anything, just so I can check out the new Raptor X in person. But we're also going to have a ton of other Reds there for you to be able to shoot on and check out. So if you've wanted to get your hands on a Red camera, we are super excited for you to come to this event. Every week on this live stream, we're going to continue to talk about it. I'll drop more gems as we continue to get closer. But ultimately, Mr. Porter, thank you so much for coming to the show today. And also, I can't wait to see you here at the event. We'll be at your event, which will be like the following week. But dude, this has been a great show, dude. I'm overly excited. I'm still hyped. I'm hyped.
I'm mad I lost, but we can still be friends. But I'm mad I lost. I'm not gonna lie. I'm mad. I'm mad I lost the game, but it's okay. Like I don't. This is why I don't enter film festivals and like, bro, I hate losing. I'm gonna think about this. Like, bro, I'm gonna text you at like midnight. Like, beat me in this dang game. Like, bro, I'm upset. No, bro, seriously, thank you, man. It's always fun being able to talk to you, hop on the lives. I appreciate the opportunity being able to come speak out at the Red event. This is gonna be fun, y'all. Like I feel like my perspective and why I love Red cameras, being able to share that with y'all in person, and then actually having the camera so that y'all can see, like, you got to see it for yourself. That's what made me in real time talk to James and like make the purchase within hours. Like I was like, I already bought the Reds and didn't even sell my Black Magic. So y'all need to be here if you've ever been on the fence about it and thinking about it, or just haven't had the chance to experience the power of what a Red camera can do. This is where you need to be at to be able to experience that. But thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you at the event. Guys, tune in. Mr. Porter, thank you so much. Everybody say thank you to Mr. Porter as we get ready to wrap up here on the stream. Peace, brother. I'll call you later. As you guys know, right after our live streams, we do have office hours. So if you are a member of the Creative Fam Academy, or you've been thinking about joining the Creative Fam Academy, we're about to get ready to run straight into office hours. So sign up for the Creative Fam Academy if you haven't already. This is where we actually get a chance to talk with you, answer your questions. You can give us videos and we'll give you feedback on that. And all of that is available right now via the Creative Fam Academy. So we have that linked down below, or we'll pull that link up in the chat for you guys to check out. But this has been an amazing show. Before I get out of here, I just want to look right at the camera and look at each and every one of you guys and just say thank you. It is because people are consuming this show and watching it and enjoying it that we are able to continue to do this every single week. And we've been able to have amazing guests come on the show. Like we had Brittany, we had Michael Tobin, we had, of course, Mr. Justin Porter, my good friend Marcus. And today we were able to bring up Jared from Red. And it's because of this amazing show that we can do things like this. And we can continue to provide as much value for you guys through this show as we possibly can. So we would love to hang out with you guys a little bit more. Office hours are going to start at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is just in about 15 minutes over on the Creative Fam Academy. So definitely be sure to go check that out. You can also download the app. It's available in your app store. So if you want to check out the Creative Fam Academy, you can just download the app. It's available in the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. And you can come join us for office hours, and we can start answering your questions and helping you grow your business and ultimately take your video production business to the next level. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you want to know a little bit more about what the Creative Fam Academy has to offer, we have an awesome video for you to check out. Check this out. Okay, imagine if you were a full-time video creator, but you didn't have to live paycheck to paycheck or be in fear of when that next job was gonna hit. Look, I get it. I'm just like you. I signed up to be a full-time video creator because I just liked making dope videos. But the truth is that there's so many money elements that we have to worry about, whether that's expenses on gear, sending invoices to clients, and really just figuring out how we build a sustainable, monetarily successful video business. If I'm being honest for a second, this pain point here is the one that crippled me for the longest. And so that's the reason why I actually launched the Creative Fam Academy. I understand that it's very hard to run a video business if you don't have the money side figured out, even if you don't want to have to care about the money side. We have entire guides dedicated to making sure that you understand the financial realm of running a video business, or you just want to figure out how to make more money so you can buy more gear. Then I strongly recommend that you check out the Creative Fam Academy. So I know what you might be thinking. Brandon, are you just trying to pitch me your $2,000-$3,000 course? Absolutely not. We didn't build the CFA for that purpose. Literally, the purpose of the CFA is so that you can build the business that you are looking for. So much so that we even created an app so that way you can take the education of the CFA on the go. Because yeah, we talk about business, but we talk about a lot more in the CFA. The truth is that 2024 is here and it is absolutely time for you to blow up your business. So join the Creative Fam Academy. Check out the special offer that I have for you because I want you to have the best year you've ever had. And who knows, maybe this is the year that you finally get a chance to shoot your dream project.